It's December 22nd, 2019. It's been super rainy here in Seattle. We had some record-breaking precipitation this week. Let's start the update over here. The lavender, you can see some of the leaves are turning yellow. I think it could be from the rain. It's just too much water, maybe. The rosemary, however, is doing pretty well. You can see it's still flowering and it's sending out a lot of new flower buds. And then over here we have another rosemary. As you can tell, we've been cutting the rosemary for culinary use. And here's the hydrangea. You can see it's still shedding leaves even though they're still green. And if you look at the main stem, it's turning brown. I think it's doing okay. And this hydrangea has completely shed its leaves. The sweet alyssum isn't really sending out new flowers anymore. And the saffron, you can see the leaves are still getting taller. Here's more saffron, it's doing the same thing. And then over here we have the summer snowflakes. See the sprouts coming out nicely. These ones are getting bigger. And this one is still slowly coming out. Green onion looks pretty much the same. Down here we have a bunch of bulb plants. This one is the Persian pearl tulip. You can see the sprouts. It's a lot more compared to last week. And if you look closely, this one over here is also sending out one sprout. I think that's tulips. And I don't think these ones are doing anything yet. Over here we have the grape hyacinth. Looks pretty much the same, just green leaves. Over here we have the strawberry. As you can see, I cleaned it up a bunch. I took away the older leaves and now it's just the newer leaves that's not really growing. Yeah, these guys are the same, so I'm not going to talk about them. I trimmed the raspberry too. You can see I left this for no reason. The catnips, some of the leaves are turning yellow. Over here we have the grape, same thing. Down here we have the bulb plants. This one is the wet crocus. You can see a lot of sprouts coming out, like a lot. All the little green spikes, those are the sprouts. Over here we have the hyacinth. You can see the sprouts are getting bigger. They're recovering really nicely. And then these are the crocus that were stored dry. A few more sprouts comparing to last week. Here's a bunch. And then this is the snowdrops. You can see this one is already flowering. Very nice flower. And then here's the few sprouts. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything else. Here's the daffodil. You can see the sprouts are getting taller still. Lastly, this is the artichoke. Still sending out new leaves. So yeah, not dormant yet. Indoor garden, this is the elephant food bush. It's still shedding leaves. As you can see, the stems are getting quite bare. But overall, I think the plant is healthy. And then the succulents, you can see it's still doing well. I haven't taken the baby plants off. Over here we have the orchids. You can see the Venus slipper orchid is doing really well. The new growth is getting bigger. And here's the mini oncidium. You can see a few more new flower stalks coming out from this side. And here's the beautiful small mini oncidium flowers. All the flowers I think are now opened. And then here are the dendrobiums, mini snowflakes. You can see these flowers are still slowly getting bigger. These ones are getting quite big. And then these ones, I think they're the biggest. But yeah, I'm excited for the flowers too. Down here's another Venus slipper orchid. These new growth are still getting bigger. String of pearls looks pretty much the same. No new growth, probably dormant. And I see here a new flower stalk from the second mini oncidium. And all the flowers on this flower stalk has opened. Here's the snake plants. You can see the new leaf is still getting taller. A few more orchids, looks pretty much the same to me. Here's the phalaenopsis, looks the same like last week. Another orchid over here, it's doing well still. And the first ossazole, still sending out some new leaves, so that's a good sign. Succulents over here, you can see this guy, and this guy isn't really growing, and this one is still growing, and the etiolation and the leaf drops are pretty bad. Pineapple, I think the leaf is still coming out. This new leaf, I think it's still getting longer. And the ficus tree is doing well. You can see the new leaves are still coming out nicely, but it's also dropping a lot of leaves at the same time. Spider plants, you can see it's doing the same thing, sending out a bunch of new leaves and probably new flower stalks. Hoya plants, same thing, new leaves on the new vines. Gonna show you the new leaves over here, and this is that longest vine. I think it's still getting longer. Here we have pear plants. The new growth is doing really well. You can see another new leaves coming out. Down here is the older growth from last year. You can see they're starting to die back. The leaves are turning yellow, which is gonna look like this eventually. The growths from last year is gonna look like that. Dendrobium, same thing. And the styrofoam fern looks great with the new antler fronds coming out.